So I talk a lot about creating edge for deer, and in this video I'm going to do a follow-up to a video I did 2 or 3 years ago where I created an edge on this woodlot where I actually wanted to extend the woodlot and create a soft edge for deer and wildlife. So stick with me and I'll show you what it looks like now. Looks pretty cool. Alright, so before I came in here with the chainsaw, this entire edge was a very hard edge. There was none of this gradual successional growth that I got going on now. It was a hard edge where the woods met the field. And what I did is I came in and I went down this entire edge, and if the tree was hingeable, I tipped it out into the field, and you can see the trees stayed alive that I hinge cut there. So tipped them out in the field to create a soft, jagged edge that works very well for wildlife. A big goal of that was to extend this woodlot, and you can see where I'm standing. I have a lot of trees that are just starting to pop. So this successional growth is just starting to leach out into the field here. What happens a lot of times, some of these trees that didn't stay alive, the birds will sit and perch up on them, and they'll start to poop out tree seeds, and you get successional growth from that. The other thing that happens is as you let a woods go, or just an area go fallow, eventually the woody species start to encroach on those areas and they start to pop. And you can see here I have a ton of maple that are coming right here, but there's also some box elder, which I love. And I'm sure if I walk I'll start to see some other cool plants. Here's another big reason why I love edge feathering like this. Check out the level of browse on these box elders. So when you tip them out like this and they stay alive, you actually create a browse line that works all the way along the edge of that woods. And the deer definitely take notice. I mean, all of this stuff is getting hammered. That's the beauty of being able to hinge cut trees. Now, box elder hinge very well. I've heard Don Higgins will say, if a tree's so worthless standing, why would you want to keep it alive on its side? Well, yes, this box elder was not doing much for deer standing, but when we tipped it on its side, look at that powerful screen that it's creating on the edge of this woods. Now, it's just not one box elder, but there's several of them here. Powerful, powerful screen, and I can walk along the whole edge of it and just keep finding browse or browsed branches. That's what the deer want. They need woody browse. That's a crucial part of their diet. Now, right now, it is a time of abundance. There's a lot of food out here for them, but in the winter, I can assure you that all of this is going to get smashed. The deer will absolutely love it, and the reason that it's still alive is because we utilize hinge cuts to keep these trees alive. Here's kind of another cool thing that's happened since we've let this area go fallow. Look at all that clover. I promise you, I did not plant any of this. For some reason, at least in our area of Minnesota, we get a ton of volunteer clover, and it is popping all over the place. So now we have a soft edge where the hinge trees are acting like a screen. We got an abundance of woody browse. And even right now, we got an abundance of herbaceous growth in the form of this clover. So it's just like a smorgasbord along this entire edge. Now, to double down on the screening here, we actually planted this entire field into spruce, because we do not want super attractive food in this area during the deer season, because we have the really attractive foods up at the top of the hill. So we converted this into spruce. So what that's going to do, it's going to screen off this woodlight, or this wood lot, and it's also going to create a component of thermal cover potentially in this area, because the deer are bedding right up to this edge. But if we get a nasty day in the winter, I know they'll bump down into these spruce and start bedding up in these spruce. So it's going to provide screening, it's going to provide cover, it's taking away the food from this area, which was not helping us out. We want the deer moving that direction up the hill. And when we had the food here, we were dividing their attention. Some are going up, some are going down. So we needed to ditch it. But it's also feeding right into the soft edge, because as this leaches out, it'll leach right into these trees that we planted and create nice diversity. All right, I'm back behind the edge. I mean, look at that. There is no way that a deer can see out of this thing. And by hinging these trees, I created an absolute wall of cover that only cost me some chainsaw gas and bar oil. And you can see, it might be tough to see in the video, but there's a trail kind of working right along this edge. And I always like to leave a trail open on the back side of these edges for the deer to be able to run. Well, in this circumstance at least, where I know we're not going to be accessing by the edge, I'm okay with the deer bedding right up next to this edge. So I want to leave a trail open to just create that line of movement. And in this case, now it's starting to grow back a little bit. I haven't cleared this trail back in a couple of years, but I might come back in here with the brush saw and just cut it back. But you can see, look at that. And they browsing all the way along through back here. Man, just look at this wall of cover. I love it. Fun just to walk on the back side here. This is the most open spot of the entire edge. There's, I think, a main trail that cuts through right here. Yep, you can see it right there. So this is the only spot, and I left it open. Sometimes I try to really use these edges to push the deer down one way or another. They always find a way through eventually. You can get them to go 50, 60, 70 yards even, but this whole edge is probably 120, 130 yards, and you need to give them at least one jump off, and this is their jump off right here. As we get back into it, it gets thick. And I can walk this entire back edge because I intentionally left it open. Man, look at how awesome that looks. There's the power of logging right there. Look at that crazy amount of regen. I mean, it is tall, it is thick. Quite a bit of maple, but nice diversity. Red elderberry. Got brambles in here. Can see ironwood right there. There's the maple, because it was a predominantly maple stand. But for the most part, it's natives in here. Got a little bit of Canada thistle growing underneath some of this, but the trees are doing a great job of choking them out. Like I say with thistle, the trees will win the day eventually. Thistles like sun. These thistles that are growing in the shade, like these couple right here, they're going to get choked out by the trees, so not worried about those. But again, back towards the edge. What do we got? We got a beautiful wall sitting right here. I mean, I cannot see out whatsoever. I just love this. And again, all the way back here, even the ironwood getting browsed. Nice to have this food right in the deer's face. Alright, I'm back outside. See, I do have some dead trees here. Nothing wrong with that. Rotting wood is good for the soil. And again, like I said, the birds will perch on those and they're reseeding for me. Hopefully eventually we can get some maybe some oaks coming out here. There's not very many oaks in this stand, but it'd be nice if the squirrels ran a couple acorns out here for me. But again, just a beautiful soft edge, and the trees are coming. There's the maple. There's some basswood I can see. There's a hinge basswood looking good. One thing I did make a point of doing is that we got these red oaks that are kind of scattered along this edge. Not too many of them, but I did my best to open up the crown competition around them so I can get more acorns and get them filling in these areas with a little bit of oak regeneration. You can see on that right side there, I cut it all away, tipped the tree out to open up. Now I wanted to keep the tree on the left, so it is growing into that one, but I do have some spots where I release the entire crown so it can really stretch out and kick out the acorns. There, I found me a little red oak coming. I will take that. Love to see that. So it doesn't take much to create great wildlife habitat. This is the easiest type of cutting that you can do with a chainsaw, because generally all the trees are leaning out to the open area anyway, so you just start cutting and they'll start tipping. Now if the trees are trees that don't hinge well, that's fine. Or if you don't like hinge cutting, that's fine. Just flush cut, get the trees out, and again, you'll still get that successional process coming. You'll create that beautiful soft edge and your deer will really appreciate it. So, all right, y'all take care. God bless.